Alrighty, we've got our automated conveyor system. What we're doing is we don't have the entire functionality that I wanted. I wasn't able to have an indicator to suggest that we're on part 1 and then part 2. So we're making one part and we're not tracking them. I tried to get that functionality and I just made everything not work or work worse. And it's 8 o'clock and they're about to close the building, and it's the day before the final day and I got math finals tomorrow. So I can't really, I would have, you can't say I didn't start out ambitious. I mean, I got a servo mounted. I got power mounted. I got crafty with this. I got hot glue guns out and stuff. So, we went to town on this construction functionality. It is a little basic. We got our LED array, to indicate red indicates the start of a process. Green indicates that process is finished. The next red indicates the next process has begun, etc. The blue LED was originally going to indicate like, oh, we're on part 1 and then off for part 2 or vice versa, but trying to incorporate it just made everything not work at all. So we're going to have to, like I say, we're not manufacturing, we're mass producing things that we're selling in bulk. We're not tracking them, we're sending them down a chute, we're selling them by weight. These are cheap made, low cost, high volume items. We're not even keeping track of the numbers. We just tracking them by weight. But anyway, let's check it out. So we grab our part, we set it on the conveyor. Conveyor motor begins, sends it through a painting process. It's getting painted, dumps it onto the second conveyor. The second conveyor goes through a heater, dries it off, and sends it down the chute. Mass produce these things. Here we go. Go, go, go. Time is money. So, yeah, I would have liked to have had, it was part of the assignment, so I imagine I'm going to get docked points for it, but not just that I would have liked to have had it. It was part of the assignment, but I wasn't, like I say, it was worse. I had things functioning worse while I was trying to use the blue to indicate things. So it is what it is. But yeah, like I say, we started off pretty ambitious. We shot for the sky. We shot for the stars. We landed in the mud. Tried to get a relay involved. Couldn't really get it. Couldn't figure out where to put it. Like I say, we started out. We were ambitious. We had ideas. I tried to have 2 servos with 2 photoresistors, which would have still been kind of a repeat function. It just would have looked cooler. It would have been cooler if I could have had this one come to a place. I even tried to have them go to the same one, like have this one stop here, go back, and then this one come and pick it up and go. I couldn't get it to work. Couldn't get it to work. So we just got the one. That would have been cool though, right? That would have been cool to have the thing come here, photoresistor, go back. This one come over, grab it, come back, and then it would have been pretty cool. Couldn't get it to work though. So there was some functionality that I got help from with the ChatGPT, with the servo, and I ran my code through it. So it renamed and kind of worded some of the things that I had. Like, I've never used a Boolean variable. I'm not opposed to it or anything. I'm not. And the other cool thing is it, when you put your code through it, it does all your notes for you. It's pretty sweet. But it does also change some of the way you do things. So, like for example, button, digital read, the state of the button is high and end exclamation point button press. That's not what I had, but it added that instead of whatever I had. Like, button pressed equals true. I probably had, I don't know what I had, but I didn't have that for sure. But yeah, I know how to set up the analog read and how to set the threshold variable up here. That's another thing, you know, I had it labeled something else, but it called itself threshold. But, you know, I know to use a serial monitor to figure out where we want the limit to be, you know, what value we want the thing to stop. So figure that out, put that in. We want the angle to rotate as long as our photo value is greater than the threshold, because in our case, when the photoresistor goes dark, the value on the Arduino goes down. So we want to keep it above that, and as long as it's above that, we want to rotate counterclockwise over to our limit and then back. So one of the things I had trouble with, and I figured out what it was just now before I was recording the video, was originally what I wanted was, as we see here, I wanted the servo returning to its home position to be the, oh, what happened? Reset. I wanted the servo returning to the start position to be the prompt for everything else. And I figured out what I did wrong. So that when I was doing this, I started with the servo. And actually, now that I'm seeing this, I could probably troubleshoot it better, but I just don't have time. But what I did was originally, like, I mean, I had all the LEDs, I didn't have my motors and stuff, but I just was like, let me get this to work. Boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, now let me add the next components to it. And now that I'm seeing what happened, I know what I did. Because to get that to go back to the start and stop so you could press the button and get it to go again, you would have this if statement down here to kind of reset everything. So I had that, you know, directly after the servo information right here. I had it right here. And then from there, I was like, well, let me add a delay and then do all these things, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is all pretty basic stuff. It's just digital write, you know, turn the LED on and off, turn the motor on and off, you know, for duration of time, and have it all kind of be, this is all just timed. This is all just time stuff. This isn't even a crazy function. This is all just, but what I did wrong was I had this after this. So it was just throwing everything for a loop. I needed to have it beforehand. But the reason I did that was I had this up here in the sequence because that's, you know what I mean? That's what I needed. That's where I needed to have it when there was, you know, one function so that I could get that function to work repeatedly. I'm like, and then to add on to that, what I needed to do in hindsight was to put all this here. And in fact, maybe I don't have time to do it now, but that's probably what I need to do to try to get other functionality. Like, I could put a delay and then I could start the other. I could do the other servo. I don't think it would be that much. I don't think it'd be that difficult, to be honest, now that I see the mistake. But it is coming up on 8:30. I don't know how late the building's open. I might be the last person here. I'll go check. If the building's open until 9, I might try this and retake it. If this is what you're getting, they closed the building and I had to go. But either way, and then as far as tracking the functionality or tracking the parts, you know, because we wanted to make 2 parts and track those. Yeah, I wasn't able to do that. So, but I flipped it up. I threw a curveball. I'm mass producing low cost, high volume items. So, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But so I expect that'll probably get me a ding on a couple points dinged, but all in all, like, you know, I'm a lot more comfortable with a lot of this. This is also basic. I'm looking at it now and it's also basic. It was such a headache. But that's kind of a good sign that I'm able to look at this and be like, oh, I see how basic that is. Which is, I swear, this is what I tried to do. And I now know that the problem was I put it after this. I put it after the thing which reset it. Because like I say, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this, you know, the servo starts and this is where the servo ends. And then from there I can build on it. But really, this is the end of the whole system. This is the end of the whole cycle. And I wasn't treating it like that, and that was the mistake. So, a little disappointed for the amount of work, as I'm looking at this, for the amount of work that I put into this, for it to be this basic, this middle chunk to be just literally just timing, that I could have done whatever. That is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. Gotta turn something in. But yeah, alrighty.